Welcome to Constitutional Chisme.
A law baddie's guide to the legal basics. I'm your host, Stephanie.
And I'm your co host, Harleigh.
Every week, we will drop an episode that you'll likely cover your first year in law school or some other bar course in your law school journey. Make sure you pay close attention to our podcast because we will drop Easter eggs of what case we plan to drop next week. See if you can guess which one.
This episode is sponsored by Belmonte, a skincare and lifestyle brand built around the reminder to stay still, grounded, and present. In the show notes, you'll find our link tree where you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, as well as a direct link to our Amazon storefront where we show you what supplies you need for law school or bar prep. We also have our Patreon linked in the link tree. That will also include a link to Belmonte, so you can go check out their website. Give yourself a little treat. We're trying to grow our show, so make sure that you follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and hit the follow, subscribe, whatever button is on whatever platform you're on right now, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Make sure that you are following us and leave us a rating, a comment. Oh, and while you're checking out our social media pages, specifically our TikTok and our Instagram, you will see that as of the day that this episode is dropping, May 15th, it is the last day to enter our Kaplan Bar Prep giveaway. So, Kaplan was so kind to give us 2 bar preps to give away, one for someone who's taking the bar for the very first time in July of 2026, and one for someone who is retaking the bar exam in July of 2026. So make sure that you are following us on Instagram as well as TikTok, and you leave a comment on that post. That's how you can get entered. All the fun details can be found on that post on our TikTok and our Instagram. And if you do enter and you are unfortunately not the one chosen, fear not, because you can still get a little bit of a discount on some bar prep because Kaplan has also been so kind as to give us a discount code, and that's Pass with Ponz. So PASSWITHPONZ. And that will give you $100 off Kaplan bar prep, and that stacks on top of any sale that they have going on, any other promotion that they have running, that $100 will stack on top of it. So it's also something that you could use if you are not someone who is planning on taking the bar in July of 2026. You can use that in the future. And since your girl is still in the middle of moving, our wonderful host, Stephanie, is once again going to do a breakdown of a case for us. So, what you got, Steph?
All right, so I'm probably going to say the name of the case wrong, but it's Stambovsky v. Ackley. I think that's how you say it, and if it's not, sorry. So
Sounds
let's
right
talk
to
about.
me.
Yeah, this is a real estate transactions case. I loved that class. So here are the facts. Mr. Stambovsky has appealed the dismissal of his complaint by the Supreme Court of New York. The initial complaint sought to rescind a contract to purchase a house from the seller, defendant, which the buyer, plaintiff, later discovered had a reputation for being haunted by ghosts. The ghostly
Ooh.
the ghostly reputation of the house impacted both the value of the property and its resale potential. I do want to add that this house was declared legally haunted. Isn't that wild?
Legally declared haunted is crazy.
Yeah, I thought that was so funny.
Uh,
Yeah, so well, I'll just kind of go in the facts a little bit of the case with Helen, the lady.
okay. The
Okay.
lady.
So Helen quite enjoyed the ghostly flatmates in her 18-room Victorian home. There were 3 ghosts in
I would
total.
too. I would enjoy anything in an 18-room Victorian home.
Not anything. That's crazy. Um,
Listen. There's a TikTok that's like, if you got a 2% mortgage, but the house was haunted, would you still buy it? And then it's like me arguing with the ghost at 3 a.m.
no, immediately no.
We'll have to repost that onto the
Yeah.
Legally Ponzaneli so people can
Uh,
see it. Anyway,
there were 3 ghosts in total, and they all wore
there were
Revolutionary
three
era clothing.
ghosts.
Yes. Yes,
I'm
Helen.
sorry. This is really tickling me. Continue.
um, so Helen discovered them in the late 60s when she was standing on a ladder in her living room. She glanced down and saw an older male spirit with white hair wearing a shirt with white puffy sleeves from a different generation.
Oh.
Rather than scream, however, Ackley remarked that she hoped he liked the color she was painting the ceiling. The spirit smiled and nodded, beginning their friendly relationship. Okay.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Not her being like, what do you think of this color?
Do you like this color? Yes or no?
Push me off the ladder if the answer is no.
Helen is so real for that.
Over the years, Ackley said she felt protected by the spirits rather than fearful of them. The ghosts also seemed to cherish their relationship with her and her husband and her children.
Okay. All right. Helen.
For it gets worse. For example, rather than set an alarm clock, the ghost would shake the kid's bed in the morning when it was time to wake up for school.
Oh my god. That's so
That's so sweet of
wakey,
them.
wakey. It's time for school.
But get this, on the weekends and breaks, they let the kids sleep in, so they would not shake the bed for them.
Very kind of these ghostly apparitions.
Perhaps the most unbelievable exchange came in the form of gifts the ghost presented to Ackley. On two special
Hello?
occasions, yeah, the wedding of Ackley's daughter and the christening of a granddaughter, Ackley found gold or silver baby rings left on nightstands that were meant for her granddaughters. Aww.
Why does the ghost have gold? Where is
No,
the ghost
because
getting gold?
the way I would be
And
like, get me money. Help me pay my student loans right now.
can you apparate some money?
Yeah,
Money,
totally.
please. Money me now.
Ackley said she had been searching for the right rings and had been striking out. When the kids tried on the gifted rings, they fit perfectly.
Okay.
Ackley spoke widely about the spirits in her home, writing an article about living with ghosts for Reader's Digest and allowing her home to be featured as the haunted house on a walking tour of exceptional houses in this small town.
Okay, that's kinda lit. I know that you're gonna disagree, but shout out Helen
No, that's so weird.
with her cool haunted house.
And
Oh
free
my god.
gold.
And her free gold.
That's so funny. So by 1991, Ackley no longer needed the big old house, and while she was going to miss her beloved ghosts, she decided to sell.
The
Ackley,
beloved ghost. I wonder if she named them. Did she have
I,
names
I'm
for the
sure she.
ghosts?
I think they did have names. Like I'm sure. Like you don't just like
Oh,
become
that's
friends with them in the
George.
'60s. Yeah,
You know how George is.
you know he wanted you to get up early.
You know he hates for you to miss the bus. It's really irritating to him.
So, Ackley partnered with the Ellis Realty to sell the large estate. The agency got a bite from an out of towner named Jeffrey Stambovsky. Stambovsky fell in love with the home and put in an offer for $650,000 to
Oh
purchase
my
it.
god.
After he deposited the down payment of $32,500, the deal was done. Until it wasn't. Stambovsky started to meet the neighbors who remarked that they were surprised he bought the haunted Victorian home. Now,
Oops.
they're like, wow, that's really brave of you.
That's crazy. You don't know about George?
Can you Google and see
Also,
if
just
she,
so
think
you
she has the
know,
names? Yeah.
$650,000 in 1990 is almost 1.7 million today.
And he was going to get richer because they were going to give him some gold.
Yeah, and obviously George just like be dropping gold and silver, so
No,
he's
period.
it's an investment. This is basically literally a gold mine.
Literally. Now warning bells were going off in Strambowski's mind as he inquired further about how haunted this house really was.
He's like, "Is it a mild haunting?"
Like, is it bad? Armed with reports from several locals, Stambovsky went back to Ellis Realty and claimed he was duped. He requested his down payment back, to which they said, No. Outraged, Stambovsky took Ellis Realty and Ackley to court, and now he was also requesting damages
Oh
for
my god.
for fraudulent misrepresentation. So, the first time around he took this to court, his case was dismissed by the New York County Supreme Court, and their reasoning had to do with the accepted practice of buyer beware. According to New York law, it was on the buyer to do their due diligence in inspecting the home rather than requiring the seller to disclose
For
any
ghosts?
details about
How
the
do you
house.
inspect for ghosts?
You don't ask every time you look in a home if they're haunted.
Hey, what are the resident is there a mild haunting here,
Yeah.
or do you have full-on poltergeists? It's very important to me.
So the second time around, Stambovsky's luck changed. This judge was more sympathetic to his point, arguing that a haunting was a unique circumstance.
The
The
law is
court
so stupid.
no, literally. The court record says that requiring the buyer to vet for spirits conjures up visions of a psychic or medium routinely accompanying the structural engineer and the Terminex man on an inspection of every home subject to contract of sale. Basically, that's wild. That's not part of your regular inspection to hire a
He said
medium.
that's wild.
Yeah, like, no, no, we're not gonna make everyone start hiring psychics and mediums while checking a
I
home.
bring in Sylvia Brown to tell me if the house is haunted. Honey, the land.
The appeals court sided with Stambovsky, who ultimately settled for getting back half of his down payment. Since the case was so unprecedented and the powers that be seemed to have a sense of humor, the case was soon dubbed the Ghostbuster ruling after the popular movie, which, if you don't know about it, that's crazy. Despite this case, New York still has a rather hands off approach when it comes to what sellers must divulge to a buyer, even when it comes to things outside of ghosts. For example, some states require sellers to reveal that a house is stigmatized property, meaning a death, crime, or some other disparaging event took place on the property. In New York, sellers don't have to reveal any of these details, but a buyer may
Yikes.
inquire about them if they have any concerns. The seller then may choose to respond or not respond to the question. So basically, be prepared to do some pretty in depth homework before buying a house in New York or most states.
Or anywhere. Bring
Yeah.
in bring in a psychic.
Yeah. So, under the caveat emptor doctrine, a buyer may only seek rescission if they acted prudently and exercised due care to assess the fitness and value of the purchased property. In this case, the plaintiff met his obligation by conducting a reasonable inspection of the premises and searching the available public records concerning the title. According to the record, the appellant was not a local and had no familiarity with the folklore of the village of Nyack, New York, where the property is located. Therefore, the fact that he was unaware of the house's haunted reputation did not show that he failed to exercise due care. In the words of the court, it should be apparent, however, that the most meticulous inspection and the search would not reveal the presence of ghosts at the premises or unearth the property's ghoulish reputation in the community. Therefore, there is no sound policy reason to deny the plaintiff relief for failing to discover a state of affairs which the most prudent purchaser would not be expected to even contemplate. Basically saying it would be really ridiculous to hold this buyer to the standard of finding out that the house was haunted, right?
Also, I'm looking at some of the language from the ruling.
Mhm.
This judge had way too much fun writing this opinion.
Yeah, yeah, they use a lot of, like, ghost references. Do you wanna
Yeah, I
drop
was
some
gonna
of
say,
that?
like, this section is, um, "From the perspective of a person in the position of plaintiff herein, a very practical problem arises with respect to the discovery of paranormal phenomenon. Who you gonna call?" And then a couple lines later, it's, "It pretends that the prudent" hold on. It portends that the prudent attorney will establish an escrow account lest the subject of the transaction come back to haunt him and his client. He's having like way too much fun with this.
Yeah.
The premises is a hobgoblin which should be exorcised from the body of legal precedent and laid quietly to rest. I swear to God.
No, yeah. This is a really fun one to read. I will say, like, after this happened and the case got famous, everyone was like, "What the heck?" Right? Um, it actually was, like, super popular, and the price of it skyrocketed, like, everyone was trying to get this home. Isn't that wild?
That's so funny. Because now he's like
Uh,
out of luck. Oh my God.
mhm.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Uh-huh.
Stephanie.
Yeah.
George was the name of Helen's husband.
Uh-huh. No way! And you were calling the ghost
Yes.
George? That's funny.
Yes. And then they had a son named George.
Oh, that's weird. How did you know? Oh my god,
I
maybe
didn't. That's so crazy.
maybe you lived in your in the house in the past life.
I'm the psychic that you should call before you buy a home.
Just leave the law, become a medium.
Forget it. Who even needs it?
Oh, wait. I have some where she talks about when she saw some of the ghosts. Um, apparently, he was called Sir George.
Oh my God. I'm literally psychic.
Yeah,
Prophet, prophet,
the figure of a
prophesy.
no, it's Revolutionary Navy lieutenant. People would hear conversations from a vacant room, and, like, the floorboards squeaking.
Oh, yeah. The pair disclosed that
Mhm.
the couple were likely poltergeists of Sir George and Lady Margaret, who lived in the region in the 18th century.
So this home, the iconic Hudson River property, has been sold to celebrities. So the filmmaker Adam Brooks, there's a musician later owned by singer Ingrid Michaelson, and then in 2021 it was sold again to an undisclosed buyer for 1.8 million, and it's valued
Wow.
now at 2.6 million dollars.
That's crazy. I know. What was his name? Stram
Stambovsky?
Stambovsky? I know Stambovsky was fuming. Fuming.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just like, "Bro?"
Jeffrey, you
Um
should have just taken an L.
No, literally. Let
Moved
me
into the
see.
this is why I'm saying buy the haunted house.
Mm-mm.
Buy the haunted house.
People were worried that the house was, like, not gonna be able to be sold, but it actually, like, went up in value like crazy, and people would come and, like, wanna tour it.
Well,
Um
that doesn't surprise me, especially because getting into the 90s and 2000s, and I mean, I get that, like, he wouldn't have known this beforehand, but, like, the 2000s was, like, this big resurgence of, like, ghosts being super cool,
Mhm.
and, like, I don't know, like, there was just, like, this cultural frenzy of, like, "I have to go see this haunted thing," because that's when you start getting movies like, Paranormal Activity
My
and
gosh,
stuff like that.
I was so scared of that growing up.
I listen, I think that it's so fascinating. Maybe it's a side effect of being someone who really, really likes horror movies, and so I grew up in
Mhm.
the era when, like, the ghost movies were, like, big, like, Amityville Horror was really big, which, I mean, the Amityville Horror House sells every few years for a crazy amount of money. So, like, it doesn't really surprise me, but, like, again.
So, the debate basically in this case was, did they have a duty to disclose this information? And there was no affirmative duty to disclose for patent defects, even
The main holding is seller who had undertaken to inform the public at large about the existence of poltergeist on the premises was stopped to deny the existence of poltergeist. So the house was haunted as a matter of law, and therefore the seller must inform the purchaser of the haunting.
Mhm. So they had a duty to disclose, and this is the ghost house. Isn't that so wild?
That's crazy.
Yeah. So basically, he only got half of his money back, and then the value of the home went up. So it was an overall lose lose for the
Yeah.
Zambovsky. But I will say at least he got some of his money back because it could have easily gone the other way and he would have gotten nothing.
Yeah. I mean, he could have just been out of luck. I mean, I guess worst case scenario, he was forced to go through with the contract, and
Yeah.
so he has to buy the house. But then, like you said, it last sold for like 1.8 million. So he could have well over that's triple his money. Which let me be real careful about math because I was loud
Mhm.
and wrong about the math on the last episode.
Yeah.
So it's roughly 3 times, I think. Don't come at me if I'm wrong, guys.
Yeah. So I think it's a really fun case if you are in law school and you're like, why would I take real estate transactions? Dude, because you get cases like this and it's awesome. Because you're like, wait, what
Literally,
the heck? What do you
there's
mean?
ghosts.
What
We
do
could read
you
about ghosts.
Yeah,
I don't know a whole lot because I didn't take real estate transactions, but, like, there are
yeah,
a few states where, like, you have to disclose, like, if crimes are committed in the house, and then some, it's like, as long as they don't ask, you don't
yeah.
gotta say anything.
You just can't lie if they ask you.
Yeah, which is
Because
crazy.
there's a lot of crimes that, like, happen in homes, you know, surprisingly.
Yeah, that's true. Well, that's crazy. Thank you for giving us the ghost case, Stephanie.
Mhm.
And that's it for today's episode. Again, I'm Harleigh Somerville, and this is Legally Ponzanelli. Thank you for spending your time with us.
And as a quick reminder, everyone, sign up to win free bar prep, even if you don't need it. Like, share, tell people about it. Because if we get enough traction on this, we're going to be able to keep giving away free bar prep, which is what we want to do. And
Yes, and
again,
if it's going to be you taking it in February of 27 or July of 27, we want to do this again,
yeah. And even if you're not taking the bar, but you just want people to get free bar prep, interact
which
with
is
it.
super cool because,
Mhm.
as we've said, I think a million billion times at this point, taking the bar is expensive. Expensive.
Yeah, and some people have, like, talked about how, like, well, you could do scholarships and you can apply for all these things, but I mean, Harley literally applied. And what happened,
D-
Harley?
I cried. I cried onto my rejection letters, and I paid for bar prep out of pocket and
No, you
worked
I think you
the
had to get a
entire
loan,
summer.
right?
Yeah, and I ended up having to take out a bar loan, even though I was working through the summer because bar prep is expensive. Like, paying for the program is expensive. Paying whatever your state's fees are to sit for the exam is expensive. And
Mm,
it's a lot of money you have to drop all at once.
yeah.
And so I had to study and work at the same time and go into debt. Life was not great for me.
So this is why it's really important to us because 'cause we're like, "Listen, we've literally been there, and if we can help someone not have to fight for their life while sitting
Yes,
for
literally.
the bar exam, we wanna do
You're
that."
already fighting for your life hard enough.
No, literally.
Don't add financial nonsense to top of it. So even if it's not you, just share the post, send it to a friend so that people can see it, people know it's out there, and that hopefully Kaplan will let us do this again. Because that's what this is all about, really, at the end of the day, is being able to, even just a little bit, make somebody's law school journey and journey to becoming a lawyer a little bit easier.
And if you're like, "You know what? I don't wanna do the giveaway, but I wanna buy Kaplan for myself," use the code. Did wanna talk a little bit about my bar prep journey really fast.
Yeah, how's that going?
So it's been really I'm gonna be honest, it's been really hard to lock back in and study for the bar again. But I'm glad that I'm using Kaplan because it's a different program than the one I used the first time, so it doesn't feel like I'm redoing the exact same thing again. I actually have live seminars that are gonna start weekly next week. So I'm really excited about that. So we have actual professors that have taught for over 10 years that are gonna do live sessions.
Wait, like, as part of Kaplan?
Yeah, that's part
Wait,
of your bar
that's
prep.
sick.
So you can ask them anything on the live seminar. So they have like a schedule of what they plan to teach you, and they have question and answer time as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I am really excited about that part. If that's something that you think would benefit you, this is definitely a bar prep that you should look into.
Yeah. Because
Well,
sometimes you do just need, like, you need someone you can go to with that very specific niche question.
mhm.
Because sometimes that's all it takes is to ask the niche question and it all clicks into place.
Yeah.
So that's insane. I love that. So that
Thank you guys for listening. Share it. Follow us on all our social media platforms.
And a special thank you to our sponsor, Belmonte. If you're not already following, please go check out the TikTok Legally Ponzaneli. That's Stephanie's personal TikTok. And that's where she'll be going live on Thursdays doing some multiple choice questions if you want to study with her during her bar prep journey. There's also legally.ponzanelli on TikTok. That is the TikTok for the actual podcast itself. That's where you'll find all the information about the Kaplan Bar Prep giveaway. And you can also check us out on Instagram at Legally Ponzanelli Podcast. You can also find all the information about the giveaway on there. And don't forget that today, May 15th, 2026, is the last day to enter. So go while you can.
Wait, but
It,
what if I miss the giveaway, but I want a discount?
oh my God, it's so funny that you ask because we have a running discount code that you can use literally whenever. It's
Wait,
passed with pawns.
what? And I can literally use that for my bar prep that I'm taking in February of next year or July of next year?
Yeah, you absolutely can. And you're going to get $100 off. And that's $100 off on top of any other promotion that Kaplan is running at that time. That's just going to
Mm.
stack.
Oh, I love a stackable coupon. Those are hard
I
to
love a
find.
stackable coupon. So go check that out. Make sure that you've got that jotted down in case you miss the giveaway or you're not taking the July 2026 bar and you're going to need it in the future. Hold on to that. But share the post anyway. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, you can email us at legallyponzanelli@gmail.com. Stephanie and I both have access to that email, so we can both check that out. Bye.
Bye.